This is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. Fun. Bellular.
Wagon.
The wagon. Yeah. Be back after break. Ching. Notice that they make most of their money off our server products and cloud services, meaning all I'm saying is that should tell you something about what they actually care about. Anyways,
Xbox is worth $23.46 billion a year to Microsoft, and that actually doesn't matter. So here's why it's kind of terrifying. Microsoft can make brutal cuts to their gaming division because it doesn't matter, not compared to where Microsoft wants to go. They can cut hundreds of developers, maybe thousands, and that's happened all in the last few years. The reason why? Microsoft is gargantuan. And those billions that Xbox makes, they're just 8.8% of Microsoft's total revenue. Xbox is just a line item in their budget. Staff are just numbers in a spreadsheet. That's how it is when your headcount is like 200,000 people. But that's all vibes. Do you know what's concrete? Leaked memos that we've read.
leak the memos!
That staff need to use AI daily, literally daily, right? They need to do that to keep Microsoft happy. But here's the thing. It seems they're not willing to take this shit anymore, and they are arming themselves against Microsoft's influence. So if you want an Xbox, and that means not just the console, it means development teams, if you want them protected against Microsoft's influence, well, today, we're getting proof of why, and we've got proof of just how bad things can.
All these companies that think AI is the answer, I hope they fail. Like, I can't force them to fail, but, like, I hope they fail. Because you don't understand. I don't think AI should be a part of anything that's historically been, like, used human creativity and passion in it. Because it adds nothing. All it does is subtract. You lose a job, you lose the passion, you lose the passion, and you lose the creativity. AI cannot create anything new, quote unquote. It has to take all this stuff it saw to create something. So what these companies don't understand is you cannot copyright something that's made off the backbone of other people's creative works. Some states have already done it, where they put a law in place where you can't copyright it. So the first game that's made with mostly AI, I want you to know, I'm getting a company together and we're making the exact same thing, and we're hoping you sue us. We're begging you to sue us, because that is where I'll get my payday. I don't care if people buy the product. I'll make it pretty cheap too. I'm gonna put it $15 cheaper than whatever you sell yours at. I don't care what you sell it at. You sell it at $15, I'm gonna give it away for free. Because I will teach you the lesson you don't seem to understand, old man. I will be the one that teaches the old man a lesson. I will use all the money I have, which, mind you, is not very much, but I will use it to put whatever company does it first in the ground. Because it's got to be the stupidest decision ever. Like, ugh. I will and you know what? When I finally win, I'm going to get on the speakers in the courtroom or something, and I'm going to say, how many times do we need to teach you this lesson, old man? I'm going to do it. I will be the meme. I will bring it. Rawr.
Get. Spoiler warning, by the way, it's really goddamn grim.
Ginger beer
now,
is
I bet
good.
this has happened to you. You've got a dead phone battery, and then you're stuck waiting ages for slow old wireless charging to crawl along. Well, that's where today's sponsor, Ugreen's new MagFlow series, comes in and solves the problem, because this is a proper Qi2 certified 25
I'm glad I've
watt
given you two
magnetic charging
excellent
power
quotes
bank.
today,
It's actually
Yui.
fast. I mean, an iPhone 16 Pro Max gets up to 50% in just 30 minutes. The power bank magnetically snaps on with 9 newtons of force. It's got a really nice grippy finish, so, well, you can actually use your phone while it charges and it just stays there. And as for the design, it's genuinely premium, clean lines, lovely LED display showing you the exact battery percentage, and you've got a built-in USB-C cable that also doubles as a carrying strap, which is real nifty. And at 10,000 milliamp hours, that is 2.5 full iPhone charges, and it's got all the over temperature, over volt, over current, etc. features that Ugreen have got on all of their stuff, so it is damn safe. It's not only that though, they've also got the 2-in-1 foldable.
Wait, the momentary
this is
ad
basically
read.
awesome for like your, well, if you're traveling, your desk setup, your nightstand. It'll handle your AirPods with the space at the back, your phone up here, and then even this little pop-out charger as an example for your Apple Watch. All awesome, and the Ugreen MagFlow series is available now on Amazon and the Ugreen website. And to get the best price, you can click the links in this video description, because the series is new and the launch discounts are live. During the layoffs, Satya Nadella sent out a public memo. He talked about what matters to Microsoft and their shift from a, quote, software...
Are they actually going mask off and being like, yeah, gaming matters maybe 1% to us. We don't care what you say.
factory to an intelligence engine empowering every person. Wow! And in this, 3 business priorities emerged: security, quality, and AI transformation. That those are the things that matter to Microsoft.
And here's the thing about AI. A lot of people think I'm like 100% against it. I'm not against AI as a concept. I'm against it taking jobs and like areas where historically humans were needed, like writing, like art, like creative processes. Those are the areas where AI has no right to be. Where does it have the right to be? I don't know, medical fields, like helping optimize like construction and stuff to help. Like, I feel it is a good supporting role. First and foremost should be humans. Why are we like discounting humans to make... Why are we just... We don't need us anymore. Let's get us out of the equation. Self-driving cars. Technically, those could work. My papa's been in one before, because they took Ubers when they were at... I can't remember where it was. I think it was in Vegas. And they said that there was a guy in that car, like, because they were testing it on vehicles and stuff. And I could see it from some kind of standpoint. But I think it would be mandatory to give everyone. I don't think at that point you're no longer... I think we would have to go back to the way things were, where people were 100% guaranteed to be on the road. Cars just had to deal with it. I think cars could be AI and stuff like that, because those are kind of like... It's kind of hard to say. It really depends on the application. Like self-driving vehicles, I could see that for like people that can no longer drive. They get like, take it like I would say in terms of like, let's say handicapped people or people that can't drive no longer. I would say they should be allowed to get one of those, just like wheelchairs and stuff. I don't really see it as a, at least currently, necessitate thing. Like, everyone needs it. But I feel like once it gets to that point, I feel like, and this is probably going to make a lot of people that support like car companies and stuff, but at that point, I don't think cars need to be a thing you purchase. I think they need to be a thing everyone is given to an extent. Like maybe you pay for the insurance for the car, but the car itself is given to you. Or something like that. Because at that point, it's not a leisurely vehicle anymore. At that point, it's not really a... what you call it? Basically, not everyone can afford the AI car. But at a certain point, it becomes AI cars are more prevalent than regular cars. In which case, I think the AI car needs to just be substandardized at that point. But the only way to do that would be for everyone to get one easily. Because the reason why I say no one should have to buy them and they should be given them, just maybe pay for the insurance or something, is because it would be up to the manufacturer to make sure that AI is top notch. Because I don't think it should be on the driver at that point. If an accident happens, it needs to be on the creator. Or the person that put it out there. I think Ginger Dragon! Hi, Cece. Hello.
And if you want to know where Microsoft makes its money, well, here's the breakdown. 35% from server products, 31% from cloud, and together those are $186.21 billion last year. And you know what's not mentioned once in this? Games, Xbox, the stuff that we care about. And look, it's not some
This is one of the reasons why I don't think any company should be allowed to acquire other companies. Can you invest in them? Sure. Up to I would say 30%. I don't quite know how the percentages works in terms of like creative control and stuff. So if 30% is too much, obviously lower that. Yeah, it's like acquiring a person. And to an extent, I don't think it's fair for a company that's vastly bigger, but has nothing to do with that company, to acquire you. Like, let's say, a Whole Foods company acquiring a technology company. Huh? Like, if you're gonna obfuscate what they do to help what you do, sure. You're completely out of that technology game. That technology company is there to further your grocery company to make it better in terms of technology, sure. I could see an argument there, but Tencent, are we talking about basically, yeah. I don't think you should be allowed to buy your way to a monopoly, basically. Let's say Blizzard. Blizzard can be allowed to get another game company, because I feel like that makes sense in the terms of like competition and stuff. But I feel like they should be limited in on that, or they can't just keep buying companies. At a certain point, they're considered a conglomerate. I feel like conglomerate should mean you're maxed out on how many companies you can acquire. You can no longer buy other companies. Because you become your own kind of company. You don't compete with the lower companies anymore. Consume the water, I will. But also, I don't think companies like Tencent should be allowed to do what they do. Where they go in and they put a little tiny needle into a big company. And then over time, they make that needle 2 needles. And then 4 needles. And then 8 needles. And then 16 needles. Then a massive needle. Then there's 4 pipes going into that company. Now you own that company. Yeah, that should be allowed. I don't think... It kind of feels like a symbiote taking over a body. Don't think it should be allowed.
Anti-gamer agenda, right? Whenever Xbox wins, Microsoft is actually happy. But it's just not what Microsoft cares about. It's not what they want to invest in. Not like...
I don't like hostile takeovers, and I don't like non-hostile takeovers. Takeover in any sense feels not good for competition-wise. But I understand the idea that some healthy competition involves buying other companies and stuff. Some. Key word there is some. I feel like after, I want to say 3 or 4. Once a company once a company that's bigger than a gaming company buys 1 or 2, they should be limited. Like, super limited. Like, you try to buy another one, it's immediately stopped, and we look at what your effect has on the industry as a whole. We get predictive analysts to look at, okay, if this company is acquired by this company, how does that affect these companies? Do these companies have to try way harder just to keep up with this company? Yes. Okay, well, you can't acquire them, but you can invest in them to a certain extent, to where maybe you can ask for a game or 2 every now and then to be made by them. Basically, what I'm saying is, like, I don't think you should be allowed to buy yourself to a bully role in competition. Because that kind of gives way too much power to the bigger company to where the little company can't do anything. A good example of what's good for the industry is Team Cherry's Silk Song. $20. Basically shoved a fist right into the glass pane that was the bigger companies kind of bullying everyone around. Nintendo's already started to try to cover up that weakness by buying game mechanics so that they can sue the smaller companies when they try to punch up. I don't think that should be allowed. Good competition is a little company making a better game for a cheaper price, basically proving that big company doesn't equal better game. Like, higher price doesn't necessarily mean better game. Thank you for the headbats. It feels scummy what Nintendo's doing, because they're kind of saying, I don't care about good competition. I want there to be no competition. What Nintendo doesn't seem to understand, which they used to, but they don't anymore, is competition breeds excellence. The more competition there is, the better you get in the long run. Because you learn different ways to make stuff. You learn how to make each little thing you do better. Because you need to compete. Competition actually breeds more profit, Alan, because you wouldn't have games like Grand Theft Auto 5 if there weren't competition. Has it gone down a ditch? Yes. But it didn't get there without competition. Yes, she's just right. Competition equals advancement. You don't get a better game without competition. You get slopped. That's why Pokemon's gotten so bad. It's like, I'm not even interested anymore because it's bad. Because it had no competition, it had no reason to get better, so they just released slop. They're not advancing. They're not getting better. Well, that's the problem, Alan. Over time, that will affect stock price. It will go lower Because eventually, less and less people are going to be inclined to buy it. Because there's an equilibrium point that you're above right now because you're a big company and stuff. But the more your game is slop, the lower that line's going to go until it's under the equilibrium line, where their market share is going to vanish. They will care when it comes time. Problem being, it'll be too late. I don't care how much good you get later on. I care about now. Like, I could be the same as you, but here's the problem. I'm the customer that's paying for the right now, and I care about right now. Think automobile market. Perfect example. Your car crashes and I die, stock goes down. Like, you need to understand that you need to care about what the customer wants now. Not later. Not next week. Now.
Say AI. And here's a question for the comments. How much do you think Microsoft can reinvest in AI from firing thousands and cancelling projects?
This is kind of why, not to get political, I didn't like one of the laws they put in place. The whole no holds bar advancement on AI. Dude, you're already behind China. China already went far and away with that, buddy. Like, I understand advancement, but I still think there should be some holes barred on it. Like, I do not think AI should have any role in voice acting. That's gotta be the scummiest thing I've ever heard. That's gotta be the scummiest idea someone came up with. You want to take a role that's literally for humans and give it to the computers. And you don't see anything wrong with that. Imagine the amount of jobs that just vanish if you allow this to happen. Yeah, exactly, Dark Prime. Alan, what she's saying is, with the automobile market, yeah, AI is okay if it's like an assisting tool. That's an assisting tool. It's helping make the creatures move and react to the player. That's what I'm saying, Alan. No company should own that big of a pie. Because it destroys innovation. The funny thing is, in a weird turnabout, the way vehicles work, it requires innovation. That's why cars are still innovated. It's because if they didn't, people would stop buying them. But that is not true for everything else. Like games, they require innovation, but some of these bigger companies don't care. They think you buy slop if I make slop. They do have competition, is what Alan probably doesn't understand. It's harder to tell with car companies, but there is slight competition still. Well, the petrol engine was a marvel. It's like hard to... There's a reason the petrol engine isn't innovated, because it makes all of the companies money to keep it as it is. Slight... That's a nuance you're not realizing, Alan. There's a reason that particular thing isn't innovated on. Why do you think anytime someone comes out with a engine that can run on vegetable oil, It's suddenly bought up and destroyed. And then, like, electricity is a natural phenomenon. It's hard to innovate on something that's so innovated. Hammer is the same because there's not really much you can innovate on. Bang. Up and down. Force. There's no true innovation in certain products because they are the most innovated of that particular thing they can go. Hammer go bonk. Like, there are ways you can make the hammer better. The ballpoint hammer, the jackhammer, those are different innovations on the hammer. Sledgehammer was literally the next innovation from hammer. It's bigger bonk. Heavier and bigger bonk. That's how it works. Innovation may not be clear at times, but it's still being done. Like, can you make the hammer better while keeping it a hammer? The only way they were able to do that is the sledgehammer, which arguably isn't really the same hammer. It's 4 times bigger, 6 times heavier. Kind of the same thing. Car, bigger car. Hummer. Yeah. Sometimes bigger isn't always better, though. We can't make a hammer bend space-time. Wait! You just wait until there's a scientist somehow that's Einstein levels where he comes out and he's like, well, if you swing a hammer in this particular way with these particular things added, you can, in fact, bend space-time for 0.1 second. That's how it works. Sometimes it's stupid, crazy, simple stuff that someone comes along and is like, but if you did that... Yeah, the Hadron Collider. Is that kind of what it does?
We've actually got the number, and we'll get to that. But it all
innovation is key.
Microsoft can hurt Xbox,
Slam.
not out of malice, just out of apathy. When we clear out a forest, it's not because of a burning visceral hatred of birds or some shit. No, it's because we need the wood. Analogies like that are often used for first contact scenarios with alien species, but it does actually apply to here, and with what we've learned, it is no wonder that Xbox staff are protecting themselves. Today's chain of events kicks off a few weeks ago when something massive happened. The entire Diablo team unionized. That's more than 450 people, and it's just the latest Xbox studio to unionize. And every single announcement shares the same story, that staff basically couldn't take it after the latest layoffs. And think about this, we've had 2 financial years in a row ending with
I love that red sentence right there. I love that red sentence. But passion can't protect us from job stability. I'm glad that some people are starting to wake up. You need to understand that AI does not have passion. AI does not have creativity in mind. You need a human in these roles. You need that organic, creative process. You need their passion. Because passion can breed so many amazing things. Like, video games as a whole wouldn't exist without humans. What did we have before we had computers? We had human ingenuity. Sometimes, like, someone that's really good at an abacus can calculate faster than a computer can sometimes. At least they used to be able to. Then the computer got even faster. But still, like... that shows you human ingenuity and human, like, thought process, creativity, passion. Remember the iRobot movie? Can a robot create a symphony? Can it create a beautiful picture? Can you? No, not everyone can. That's the point. Not everyone's meant to. Some people are meant for different jobs. Some people... Whatever makes you truly passionate is what you're meant to do. Maybe that's not clear at the moment. But you have to like really... Sometimes it just takes lots of passion, lots of ingenuity, lots of creativity for something to be born. Not everyone's meant to make the Mona Lisa. Not everyone's meant to make Notre Dame. Not everyone is meant to be Einstein. And some people are jealous of that fact and need to understand that even if you introduce AI, humans will always be better at making stuff. Lizard, yes. But like I'm saying, passion, creativity should be a human thing. It should never be AI. AI can assist. AI is an assistant tool. It is not the tool.
Game cancellations and studio closures. And that's not counting the quarterly layoffs across all.
Welcome's gonna have to cut out so much of this.
Like clockwork now. Diablo especially suffered before the acquisition. Crunch, high attrition rates, hostile working environments.
I like how this is already like a 30-minute video. 4 minutes in.
Now,
5 minutes
no
in.
staff want to fight back. And here's what staff in Diablo pointed out, that these unions don't stop layoffs entirely. Indeed, the first contracts only got ratified this summer, which is years after staff first formed the unions. But what it does do is help. As an example, sources told Aftermath that ZeniMax Online's QA department got real improvements after their unionization. And I'll just quote them. They've definitely improved layoff procedures and severance and things like that. For other units, they were able to negotiate immediately after they've got notifications of the layoffs and who is being let go to save some jobs or make a case for saving jobs for people who are essential. So often we see layoffs that are just...
That is kind of the reason why I love unions, because the guy way at the top that gets paid the billions doesn't understand the lower half. He can see all around his tower of opulence, but he can't see directly below him because of how it works. Like, he can't look down and see everything. It only goes so far, like, directly down from him. You know how there's towers and how, like, you can see way far, but, like, certain range towers can't shoot directly below them unless they have, like, oil or something to throw out. And even then, like, it's not as good as shooting straight out. That's the idea. Is, like, he don't know, or she don't know. How the hell should you... Why the hell should the person way at the top be allowed to just fire all the bottom staff? That's not healthy for his company. There should be a middle person that's like, hey, that guy holds up your entire code infrastructure and you want to fire him? Are you sure about that? Look at all the stuff he's responsible for and then tell me you still want him fired. Huh? Like, explain that to me in detail.
Done line item by line item, but it could turn out that one of the people caught up in that actually knows shit that other people in the organization don't know. And those people are actually essential. And I have first-hand personal experience of seeing a number of near misses in that regard with just Xbox stuff that I know. Now, the Diablo team has also talked about the cultural changes post-acquisition. So basically what happened whenever Microsoft owned them. And here's the lowdown. Xbox staff don't actually get the same benefits as Microsoft staff, especially Activision Blizzard King Studios. Wages have not increased notably. Xbox developers are openly protesting Microsoft's military contracts as well, and apparently Microsoft set the FBI on their own staff. That's banter.
This stuff...
Meanwhile, the generative AI stuff is...
You're not a part of that country. I'm sorry, this will probably piss off a lot of people when I say this, but if a company is based in America, or let's say for like true transparency, not even based in America. Let's say there's a company based in China. Do I want the Chinese company affecting stuff over here in America that it has no business affecting, like politics? No. No, I do not. I don't care if it would be helping my company. I do not accept that. Because you have no business being over here. My question is, what do you gain out of being over here that you're trying to be over here? Because really, you're trying to shove yourself in here in the guise of helping. But people forget, even back in the Middle Ages, people would offer to help you knowing that they'd get something out of it. That's why kings didn't always accept help from other kings. Because if let's say I'm a queen or a king of a company of that country, why would I let this king help me? What do they get out of it that I don't understand at first? Like, what exchange is happening that I don't quite understand that makes them want to help me? You got to understand it from that point of view. So let's take that and apply it to the Americas, basically. Why, Microsoft, do you want to be working in Gaza and stuff? I'm confused. Aren't you an American company? Why are you helping out in another country? Like, at the end of the day, it's a company and it's making money. If that's the only goal there, I don't think any employee has the right to tell them no. But at the same point, what else are you getting out of it? If you could tell me honestly and show me 100% that all you're getting out of this is the business and the money, sure. Full stop, they can keep doing it. But at the same time, what else are you doing? It's a slippery slope. And it's a very balanced seesaw. If all you're getting out of it is money, we're balanced. If you're getting something else, you're starting to weigh down that seesaw.
Creeping around the edges of their workspace. And we've talked about this on the other channel. There was some...
Like, I could hear some people being like, they shouldn't be in there. We don't like that, supporting that, and so... Are they making just money? We don't have a right to stop them. They're a company. What they're going for is money. That's their goal. Like I said.
With Warcraft marketing, social media teams being seemingly caught up in the mix, and absolutely customer support being big time caught up in the mix.
Customer support should be the #1 role you keep. Because it is the most important role. It is your outward face to customers. Customers matter to you because they make you money. If you don't care about your customers, why am I buying your product?
And it certainly has harmed the connection between players and developers. That's just one example, and it is not a one-off, because we now have proof of what happens without protections, and it comes in the form...
Exactly. Money is money. Political influence is completely different. Like, I would accept help from this other kingdom for my kingdom. If all you want from me is gold, sure. But the second you talk to any of my senators or any of my barons or princes or stuff, out. Get out of here. You are not affecting my political zone. You said you would help me fight this war with your soldiers. All you wanted was money for your soldiers. Yet you talked to one of my senators. I don't care what it was about. That's intent. You do not affect... I don't think any country should be allowed to affect any other country's political hemisphere. I don't care how wrong that other country is. That's how wars are started. And ironically, the side that jumped in to help somehow gained a way more than they initially asked for.
Company called
Seems a little
King.
weird.
And it seems that King absolutely are the canary in the coal mine, that they are Microsoft's test case, that effectively what Microsoft is mandating for them is what they want for the rest of Xbox. We know that King has unions, but they're not company-wide like Diablo, and that means that Microsoft's impact can be quite a bit more brutal, because staff have less recourse to challenge them via formal means. Back in July, right after the latest layoff wave went public, King lost 200 developers, and MobileGamer.biz reported something kind of shocking, that internal teams at King got cut in half, and their replacements, they were AI tools. So that's lovely. And to add a cherry on top...
And what's hilarious about that, you probably don't realize, you need people that know how to use those AI tools, and then those AI tools don't fully replace how many people you just let go. You want to pay one person less while also cutting all these extra jobs. Do we not see the outcome in here to where it's just one guy pressing a few buttons? Why would we want that? That's less jobs. More politicians should be scared of this. You don't think your job's next? What happens when the president's like, you know what? I don't need all these politicians to keep me in charge. AI tool. That's kind of how it works.
Teams had just built those tools, and they were essentially meant to support level design and copywriting. That's what people were
It'll support. Yeah. Wait, why did all these other people leave? Well, we don't need them because we have this support tool. But this was just supposed to help us. But it's hurting us.
When they were asked to make these tools. But now those tools quite literally have replaced them. And we know that this is Microsoft doing. A source told the outlet, quote, AI was being introduced by Microsoft as mandatory a while ago. The goal for last year, if I recall correctly, was having 70 or 80% daily usage of AI on general tasks. And the goal for this year was to get that up to 100%, so that every artist, designer, developer, even managers have to use it on a daily basis. And this is described as an imposition by Microsoft. And a separate source echoed this. They said that King's leadership were, quote, AI skeptics. And overall, adoption was, quote, very low apart from ChatGPT. And obviously, that's not what Microsoft wants. A recent leaked memo makes this clear, and I'll read from it directly. Using AI is no longer optional. It is core to every role and every level. Essentially, Copilot must be everyone's work partner. Management now includes AI use in performance reviews and in reward schemes. You know that fun little axiom that whenever you set something as a target or a reward, it becomes functionally kind of useless? Oh dear, I have a feeling that that will create some perverse incentives. But when you tell people, use AI or else, what do you expect will happen? Especially because it's not like those people will be using it because they're genuinely interested. I use loads of little AI things here and there, but I drive that. I set my own rules, make my own standards. Nobody's forcing me, and I can use my own judgment as to what is or is not appropriate. Guess what? My dyslexic ass is useless at spelling, and some of the LLM things are pretty useful for a little bit of sanity checks. That's rather different from your boss saying, hey, we need a 100% adoption rate. It's actually going to be tied to your performance review and your bonuses and probably your future with the company, and you have no...
You know what I would do? Yeah, the or else is scary. You know what I would do if they did this? I would do none of the work. You said 100% AI adoption. Okay, I'm gonna have AI do this. Well, AI didn't do it for me. I was told that I had to use AI for everything, but AI couldn't help me with this, so I can't do it. I'm sorry. That's not a part of what you told me I have to do. Sorry. Oh, it can spell check for me. Oh, I don't need to spell then. Oh, it says it can't figure out what I wanted to say. Well, I wanted to say this, but... I'm sorry. AI doesn't work. Do you want me to go back to how I was doing it before? Yes? Okay. That's not it. Can affect my performance review, right? No? Okay, good.
No choice. Completely different. And for King, we can now add this to existing problems like a HR team whose role
I'm
is,
surprised so many people don't maliciously compliance. If we all did it, they would learn.
to protect the company, not the staff. That's a common phrase.
Yes, I will train the AI. Gobbly googly googly blah 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 blah. Ooh, look. Pretty flower picture. I don't have to use AI anymore? It's really bad? Okay.
But it's also a quote in this case. This has resulted in brutal attrition, in dysfunctional relationships between staff and leadership. And what has Microsoft's corporate influence been? Quite simply, it's been to make a bad situation worse. Microsoft leadership is at odds with the people who are making their products. Say, the developers who are making the games that you want to play. And the reason why is that games are not really the point of the company. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sacrificing games for AI funding. Quite literally. Because we know this was a sacrifice. I'm not being hyperbolic. Windows Central and the Seattle Times both reported the same goddamn thing, that this summer's Microsoft layoffs had one purpose, that it wasn't about cancelling floundering projects. No, the mass layoffs freed up $80 billion for future AI infrastructure investment. Those are the layoffs that hit all of Microsoft, but we do know that Xbox got particularly hammered. And think about that number, $80 billion. That is effectively what Xbox paid for Activision Blizzard King in an all-cash purchase. So if you are a Microsoft executive looking at the financials, basically here's what you see. Xbox bought themselves marginal profitability every year. Good for them! But that same money could have went into AI infrastructure, which is far more profitable, they believe. And that is the problem. Xbox isn't the millstone that it once was. We won't see Satya Nadella deciding between closing or expanding Xbox anytime soon. But what we can see, what we do know, is that Microsoft's interests are not Xbox's interests, or, for that matter, the interests of their players. When Microsoft demands Xbox shows financial value, like the AI division is able to, expensive long-term plans become easy targets. That is how, as an example, Perfect Dark dies, reportedly spiraling towards $270 million before launch. That's how Everwild vanishes, or how a ZeniMax Online MMO that Xbox leadership loved playing gets cancelled. And this explains how they blindly demand layoffs across all levels of seniority, vastly hurting their own output. And even in the best case, obviously Phil Spencer and Johanna Fares could not stop Microsoft's demands, because the details don't matter to Microsoft. So, is it any wonder that Xbox staff are doing whatever they can to oppose them? Why entire game teams, like the World of Warcraft development team, I believe a lot of the Overwatch 2 development team, and also the Diablo development team, while whole groups like that are unionizing so that they can oppose this bullshit. And look, to be clear, I know there are loads of pros about unions and loads of cons about unions. There are stories of unions going well and stories of unions being extremely corrupt, going badly, and even hurting industries in whole countries. I know about that stuff. But here's the thing, we actually need to think. A lot of the time whenever people criticize a large language model, they'll say, it's just an X-word prediction, bro. Well, for a lot of people, they hear union and think, good, I support. or they hear union and think, bad, I don't support. But here's the thing, it ain't binary. It's different shit in different cases. And in this case, if you don't want slop, I think you should probably support this, because look, right? You see how this shit's ran over time? The best people who don't want these tools forced upon them, forced being the operative word, well, they're just gonna end up quitting, going somewhere else, or being slashed by layoffs. Do you know who in a, let's just say, evolutionary setting like that will be more fit? The yes men, the people who don't really care, who are happy enough to make slop if slop is the result of the company's demands. Does that mean better games for you? I would argue no, it does not. And is some of these teams being able to unionize basically means they can say, actually screw you on this thing we know best and we're going to put up an internal fight? Then I think that's probably, in the balance of pros and cons, in this case, a pro. Let me know what you think though, and if you've been impacted by any of this stuff, especially, let me and the rest of us know, because we would love to hear what your experience has been. That's it for now. And if you want to learn about the real Bellular business going on in YouTube,
we got to learn some things that these big companies think is important. What do you know? Alright. They finally went full mask off, guys. Did anyone else do this? Like, I like frittata, but he's kind of, he likes to use metaphors. Alright. This is frittata, so he's gonna use a lot of metaphors.
Nothing's happening. Something about a virtual boy. Nothing's happening. It's over. A lot of people in the audience look pissed.
I love that he used that, because from what I understand, no one liked it. No one.
So, guess who had the grand privilege of sitting down through the entirety of the Nintendo Direct at 6 in the goddamn morning? I'll give you a hint. He's Mexican and he has a popsicle stick. And no, this one is not covered in crema con fresas. That's right, the guy you successfully gave over 500 subs last video. So
oh yeah, we already know about that, Alan. The big one was they got the summon mechanic. Like, quite literally the summon mechanic. Like, no more necromancers. No more Elden Ring.
oh, if we can keep that ball rolling, so when I get to 110,000, I can play you La Cucaracha on camera, that'd be great. Although, there's a new request. Ever since I did the Pokemon Pow World Gotta Catch 'em All rap, people want me to do a full extended version. So, Cativa, Foxcle, Pangolin 2. Looks like Pikachu just filed lawsuit. Grizzbolt, Jolthawk, Spark its glare. Is that Luxray or litigation in the air? Gotta sue 'em all. Gotta sue 'em all. If you want that full extended version instead, well, you know what to do. Smash the subscribe button. Get us to 110K.
But yeah, he did that in the last episode. How do you play a wizard now? That's what I'm saying. Wizard can't summon elementals. Which, by the way, can we all agree that Hasbro's change to Dungeons and Dragons, like the new Dungeons and Dragons, where wizards can't summon elementals, it's an extra D6 to your rolls, or like an extra 2d6 or something? That's so dumb. That is not why I got that spell. I don't care about the damage. Like, the bigger ones need to do more damage, but
K subs. As a matter of fact, get us to 200K subs. Because if you're tired of seeing the average content creator going all soy face when they're
anyone that's supported by Nintendo, I ignore now.
watching these Nintendo Directs and then faking their...
I guess? No, because you're kind of directing the fireball where it's going. So I don't know if that counts. And it does specifically state creature. Yeah, summoning another person to fight would be bad.
excitement pretending to care, then
Thank
you've
you.
tuned into the
Gosh,
right
it
channel,
died.
because we don't do that shit here. Yes, I fully intended to watch the Nintendo Direct expecting nothing, and that's the problem. I wanted to be surprised, be proven wrong. But for Nintendo's supposed 40th year anniversary of...
Which is wild that they decided to be super greedy on their 40th. Yeah, oh yeah, the summoning animals mechanic, can't do that.
Super Mario Bros. That was complete ass. This
Yeah,
Nintendo
real-time
Direct
strategy games
showed
don't work
the
either.
extent of Nintendo's greediness. Well, actually, I don't know why I say the extent.
Because
I feel
technically you're summoning those creatures, those humans, to do stuff. And they're fighting what's near them.
there is no limit to that. I feel as if the more this goes on, the more cartoonishly greedy Nintendo is going to get. And the more their fan base is going to excuse it, because I've talked to multiple people who did not like anything they saw, but guess what? They're still gonna buy all of it. So what do we accomplish? Nothing. Either way, I don't want to waste your time ranting about Nintendo fanboys and whatnot, no matter how much you guys enjoy it. You see, we got plenty of other videos for that. Instead, we're gonna go over everything wrong with that Nintendo Direct. For starters, I'll say, can we stop having these things at 6 in the morning Pacific time?
It's
all
6 in the
pre-recorded.
morning.
It's not like any of it is shot or filmed live in the moment. I don't even...
It's at 6 in the morning because they don't care. They do it on the time they think their Japanese audience is going to watch it.
know why it's streamed.
They also do it that early so that the Japanese audience has less a chance of seeing how pissed off the English audience is.
For that matter, streaming a pre-recorded quote-unquote event like this just doesn't make sense, but whatever. I guess it gives the rest of the world something to do for an hour. So the whole thing started off with what was easily the worst 40th year anniversary for Mario possible. Not that I really care about Mario that much. I don't understand. I mean, look, after like 50 million games, I feel a little bit of the Italian plumber fatigue. You could show me the greatest Mario game in existence next, and I still wouldn't give two shits. But unfortunately, that's not what Nintendo...
I'd be kind of interested, but with all the consoles that are out right now, I would not be interested.
did. See, people too...
That's what's wild is... I bet you anything that a lot of this greed is coming from actual American Nintendo. I wouldn't be surprised.
Tuned into this thing for video games, and the first thing that they want to open
Right now, I still think it's all of Nintendo, but I wouldn't be surprised if it literally is just American Nintendo.
up is with their Mario-themed thingy in Florida. And then, of course, what everybody wants, a movie announcement at a video game direct. I know a lot of grown-ass adults really love the Mario movie. Personally, I find the sense of humor cringe, but in general, you know, it's a kid's movie. I'm not gonna knock it. It just doesn't belong here. I just don't know why we're wasting a time slot on this. It's a Super Mario Galaxy movie, but we don't even see the galaxy because it's just a teaser. But I figured as soon as they showed this teaser for a Super Mario Galaxy movie, I knew exactly what that meant. They're gonna re-release Mario Galaxy games, aren't they? And lo and behold, was I right? Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. That's right, if you bought Mario Galaxy and the Super Mario All-Stars bundle for the Switch, you got ripped off. They told you it was a limited run, and then a few years later, now they're actually selling you Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, that's also one of the reasons why I was like, there's no way you're not gonna re-release these games. Like, you just did the Mario movie. You're definitely gonna try to do Galaxy eventually, and there ain't no way you're not releasing both those games. So why are you lying to people and saying it's a limited run?
1 and 2, separate, on their own, for you to be able to buy on the eShop. Except it comes with a catch. You know, everything Nintendo tied comes with a catch. What's that catch? 40 bucks a piece.
$40 a piece? Nah, not happening.
Silk Song's $20 fucking. And it's quite possibly the best game this year. Well, the best game this year is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but some would digress.
It's Silk Song.
You know, I've come
Kingdom
to
Hearts Deliverance 2 was big, and then it just died. Like, no one's talking about it. Yet they're still talking about Silk Song.
the conclusion that Nintendo doesn't have as much content as people think. They just slice it all up and re-release it slowly to give you the illusion that they're releasing something, but this is a game you've been able to emulate for almost 20 years now. And they want 40 bucks for each one. Suck a dick, Nintendo. And of course, per usual, with the re-release of an ancient-ass game.
And this is why they attack emulation. Is emulation encroaches on what they do. Emulation, like, destroys what they do. It makes what they do look petty. They decide when they re-release some of their old games, and they don't want to release them to the newer players. They don't.
Nintendo's reasoning for
They want the games that they stopped releasing to die.
releasing new amiibos. Let's be real, these are toys, okay? Toys for grown-ass adults who will buy them. Woohoo! Isn't that great? More plastic for you to put on your...
I have a ton of Skylanders. Because Skylanders, at least... I felt like they did stuff, but each amiibo from Nintendo has done less and less stuff. To the point where it just gives you an item in the game. That's it.
shelf.
Sometimes they don't
Thank
even
you,
do anything.
Nintendo. Oh, so good.
Morning,
What
Shotgun.
other company thinks of its
Shogun.
consumers this much? No other company thinks about how many products they can sell to the consumer to put on their shelves to showcase how much they consume. Fantastic. No, but of course you want your viewers and all one of your friends that come over to your house to be able to see how much you consume. So they're also selling you Rosalina's storybook. Yeah, you can buy this gay ass shit for 25 bucks. Isn't that wonderful?
$25?
Not only do they want to sell you the game for 40, but they also want to sell you little toys and a little storybook. And before you know it, the average Nintendo purchase goes from being what...
I like how it's a very clear, like, what's the word? Theme. That all their stuff is overpriced now. This would normally be like $15. Why is it $25?
should be $20 to at least nearly $100, because that's how Nintendo gets these losers. These are collector's items. They hold so much intrinsic value to the consumer. Shut the fuck up. Next, they show an actual new
Not even
Mario
inflation
game.
accounts
Well,
for that.
I'm saying new in quotes because
It's a
we've
it's
had
a
Mario
storybook.
Tennis before, but here's a new one. What can I say? I mean,
Paper
the Mario
didn't get
sports
super
games are
expensive.
good. If there's one thing Nintendo gets right, is making sports games.
That's what they do it for. It's the scalpers. They know they take advantage of the scalpers.
It's fun. So there's not really much for me to knock here. I mean, I still think it's gay, but fuck, there goes my phone. I still think it's gay, but at the very least, it's a new Mario product for the 40-year anniversary. May not be a standalone Mario project, but it's either this or nothing at all. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a Nintendo Direct without re-releases, like nearly every single company, but of course, Nintendo is the king of re-releases, so you're getting Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 edition. Isn't that great? The one Mario game where you turn into an elephant. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, at this point, they're gonna run out of things for Mario to turn into. My favorite gimmick so far, though, is the hardcore copyright abuser. That's gotta be Mario's best transformation yet. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a proper re-release without Nintendo throwing in yet another stupid gay-ass toy to go along with it. Except this time, it's a talking flower. You know how many Nintendo YouTubers I know are gonna have that sitting front and center on their desk for their videos where they're soy jacking the fuck out? Well, what's there more to say? It's the same game released again, which is the average Nintendo consumer's favorite thing to purchase. But now
Why? Is your 40th anniversary just filled with objects and re-releases of games for overpriced?
If you were wondering why Super Mario Bros. Wonder wasn't enhanced by default for the Switch 2 at launch, now you know. Now I know if you're a sane person, you're looking at that and you're saying that is a clear ripoff, but Nintendo guys are looking at that and saying, oh my god, Koopalings! Next, I'm gonna move on to the only W of the morning, because well,
Wait,
it's
is
my
this a
own
new Fire
personal
Emblem?
W, and that is
I'm
a
gonna be
brand
so
new
mad.
Fire Emblem game. Okay, if there's anything about the Switch library that I did like, other
I'm
than
mad. I'm mad. I'm mad.
Mario Rabbids, surprisingly, it was Fire Emblem Three Houses, which was my gateway into this franchise since I've emulated a lot of the titles. After that, I gotta say, I have stated several times there's not much that could catch my attention other than a new Fire Emblem game, and well, here it is. Now, hopefully this one doesn't run at 20 FPS like Fire Emblem Three Houses, but when it comes to these games, it's all about the
Wait, they have chariots and they have emo knights.
combat, and they are some of my favorite strategy games ever made. And the only reason I'm listing it this early and not in the precise order it was revealed is because this is the most excitement you're gonna get out of me. Unfortunately, I'm not quite as good at faking my excitement as RGT85. Then we move on to what tricked me at first. See, I was looking at that and I thought, oh my god, they did it. They made Metroid Kart. It's finally happening. Then I quickly find out, no, that's actually how you traverse in the brand new Metroid Prime 4. Not sure how I feel about it. It seems like there's going to be some kind of open world type of gameplay here, which seems,
That already makes me sick and don't want it.
you know, to go against the whole
Don't worry, Rebu. I'm not gonna get it. Although if we start playing it soon.
aspect of Metroidvania style gameplay, but it could be good. It looks a little generic. Giving Samus a bike, I'm not against, but I don't really know if it's a selling point for me.
It's not.
And I don't want to sound like a graphics.
That's not what Metroid's about. It never was about. Like, you could make an argument to fly the ship, but
snob. I really don't, but I truly believe Metroid deserves a lot better than this. The game
does.
is looking rough. Just awful.
It looks
low
awful.
textures. I understand that this is originally a Switch 1 game, but I don't think that's an excuse. I really feel like they kind of rushed Metroid Prime 4 because it's been scrapped several times. And this final version has to be released. There's no going back. And as a result, it just doesn't look like they gave Metroid the proper treatment it deserves from a visual standpoint. I mean, the art direction, fine, but come on. I mean, you guys can do better than this for Samus. And I'm not the only one, because the comment section on the reveal of this was mentioning how it looks like this demo was built the night before just for the direct. It's almost like the same reveal we got for Halo Infinite. Everybody was saying, what the fuck is that? That is what you give Master Chief? And that's my exact reaction. This is what you give Samus? At times, certain things don't even look like they're properly being rendered. It's inexcusable.
that's disgusting. Look at that. Like the blockiness down there. Like, just... What is this? And then, like... That doesn't even look like it matches the area.
Usably bad, even for the Nintendo Switch. Nothing I've seen about this game gives me any sort of confidence. It genuinely looks like ass. And that hurts to say because I like Metroid. I really do. And you can tell Nintendo's reluctant as well, because that's the most amount of time they were willing to give it at this direct. I know people say graphics don't matter, but...
Here's the thing. Graphics don't matter to an extent. It's when it starts getting super realistic and stuff that they stop mattering. I don't care about the follicles on their neck. I don't care about the hair upon their neck tensing. Don't care about that. But your game needs to be at least look good for what type of game it is. And a Metroid game needs to look decent.
There was a time long ago where...
Like, Metroid Prime 1 looks better than this.
Metroid was a graphics showcase. Remember Metroid Prime 1? That was impressive for its time.
Alan, you think you want the hair follicles upon their neck, but you don't. That's not something you're interested in 90% of the time while you're playing a game. Maybe like 5? But you'll be like, ooh, look, I can see the hair follicles. Ooh, that's so cool. 100 hours in. Okay, that's nice. See? You
This
like
right
it,
here, this would impress
but you don't like it
maybe in
nearly as much as you
2007.
think it is.
I don't get what's wrong with Nintendo. This is Metroid Prime 4. People have been waiting so fucking long for this. And Nintendo just doesn't seem to care to give this franchise a proper
They don't
budget.
care.
The game is not looking promising, and that's a huge concern for Metroid fans. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the
Oh no, I'm not discounting that there should be like movie games and stuff. Alan. Wasn't talking about those. Those being very like graphically intense, sure. I could see a reason for that. But that's not really a plus. It's an expectation. Whereas in other games, it's like a small plus, but it's more of a negative when that's the only thing you have coming for it. See, graphics matter to a point, but then they're more of a negative than they are a positive. Because people see, oh, it's pretty, but where's the gameplay? You care more about gameplay than you do graphics. I promise you, if the game's really pretty, but the gameplay's like booty, you won't like the game.
new amiibos that they're going to release for this game look of higher quality than the in-game models themselves. We also then got to look at the new Yoshi game that's coming out. For some reason, this took a spot during the Mario 40-year anniversary. What's there to say? It's a new Yoshi game, unique art style. It essentially looks like a Yoshi's Island, but without a baby Mario. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just, I'm so uninterested, I don't even want to roast it. The game is so uninteresting, I don't even have the energy to shit on it. Think about that. Then we gotta look at a upcoming brand new roguelike game because we don't have enough of those. Storm Lancers. Honestly,
I'm sorry, Nintendo. There's too many of those on Steam that are good. You're highly doubt your game's gonna come close to them.
bad at all. Seems like it would be fun with friends. And this would have been fun if it released like 10 years ago when roguelites were at their height. But
yeah.
It's Nintendo. You have to understand that they're always about 10 years behind on what's popular. Honestly, it could be fun. I don't even
I love
shit.
how they used to be the innovators. Now they're the trend traders and nostalgia baiters.
On it, because in order for me to shit on something, I have to care, and I just don't care. Then Nintendo wastes our time with Dinkum, yet another game that's heavily inspired by the same blocky crafting, building, open.
What's hilarious is there's already like 3 games coming out that are like look way better, have better like ideas for them, and then
worldness / crafting survival that Minecraft has cursed the gaming industry with for all of eternity. At this point, if you play one of these types of games, you've played them all. I don't understand their existence. I feel their low polygon, low graphics aesthetic and the simplicity of blocks is supposed to represent the brains of the types of people that buy this crap. Then we look at Popucom. Do you really want me to waste my breath with this one? A cheesy puzzle game that you can play with friends. I'm sure all
that might do good if there was actually a lot of people with Switches that still
8
played them.
people will enjoy this one. Then of course Nintendo has to quickly be reminded that Mii's exist and they have to give them a purpose other than Smash Bros. So you get a new Tomodachi Life game. Whoa.
Tomodachi Life is probably their biggest game now. That's what's hilarious.
Ooh, isn't that great? Animal Crossing, but with Mii's. Sadly, I know like 1 or 2 adults that like this, and they're watching my videos, so shame on you. But I love you. Thank you, Nintendo. I have to be up at 6 a.m. so I can watch this crap. It's exactly what a grown-up wants to do. Wake up at 6 in the morning to watch a trailer for Tomodachi Life. My God, kill me now. Then you get a Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Collection spelled with K because it's so adorable. I mean, whatever. Mortal Kombat's cool, but I think I've been playing Mortal Kombat for longer than I've been using the internet. So, no, I'm not amazed. No, I'm not gonna soy jack out for this. Then we get a trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, as if we didn't already know this was coming to the Switch too. So for some reason, it's here to eat up time and waste your day, like the world didn't know this was going to happen.
What's hilarious is they still are partnering with Square Enix. When Square Enix quite literally has summoning mechanics in a lot of these games. I'd love to see... So, like, it's, like, clear... that shouldn't be allowed. You should be able to patent these ideas.
Thank you, Nintendo. Then we get a look at Linked, Banner of Spark, and who cares? No, seriously, who cares? Not me. But if the kids need something to play, this looks fine. I mean, that seems to be who it's primarily aimed for. Then we get Hades 2 trailer. Of course, Hades is an excellent franchise. No one's gonna deny that, but you're not breaking any new grounds here. Showing a game that we expected to be on this device anyway. Of course, then it wouldn't be a Nintendo Direct without more amiibos, and this one's for Kirby Air Riders. Honestly, I really don't know how Nintendo fans can buy every single amiibo shown to them at a Direct and not directly put their family out on the streets because of it. Really does feel like at this point they spent more time showing you movies and toys and collectibles than they've shown you games. It's all part of the money machine, you know.
I was watching.
Just keep pumping this company up with grossing profits by buying these little pieces of plastic that take up time slots at a gaming event that I didn't want to be up at 6 in the morning for. Then, for some odd reason, Nintendo wastes your time showing you Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment yet again. Like we didn't know this was coming out. This is what we call padding. They were padding this hour-long event. You really think Nintendo...
If you already know something's coming out and they're doing another different trailer on it, or even a same trailer, that's called padding.
Be reminded this comes out. Nintendo fans remember from day one. These guys have not been able to let go of Mario since the day they were born, so I don't know why you gotta give them reruns of the same fucking ads we've seen over and over. And then we get a look at a remake of a remake. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Now, I don't know why they say reimagined, because it was already reimagined for the 3DS. I did have that version at one point, and I did beat it. Quite enjoyed it. Not sure why we need it remade again. I know they're gonna remake a bunch of Dragon Quest games, but I just don't even know who are the people that ask for this. Maybe, you know, the creator to Hunter x Hunter, Togashi, he would buy this up, but I just don't see the point. It goes to the best part. As you may all have heard the news. See, the Virtual Boy, Nintendo's greatest failure to this day, was such a colossal flop that they're still trying to make their money back from it over 30 years later.
Why would you use the same graphics? I didn't know about this. Oh my god.
The Virtual Boy was one of the first attempts at bringing virtual reality to the household. And as you may know, it was a terrible idea that failed miserably. The only positive thing anybody has to say is the Wario game on it was good or whatnot. Well, anyway, for some reason, even though people keep asking Nintendo for more GameCube and more N64 games and more Game Boy Advance titles or DS titles, Nintendo said, we'll do you one better. We're bringing back the Virtual Boy. Yeah, we know nobody asked for this, but guys, we're really trying to make our money back on this. It set us back over 30 years ago. And we know how much you guys love the novelty of our cheap Chinese plastic. So alongside Virtual Boy titles, they want to resell you the Virtual Boy headset that you slide your Switch tablet into to mimic what it's like to have VR at home instead of buying a real VR headset like a grown-ass adult. Embarrassing, simply embarrassing. And $100, they want $100 for Chinese plastic made by...
Huh? They want $100 for this?
child labor in China. I'm not
Excuse
even
me?
kidding you. They are literally just trying to resell you the Virtual Boy. Nintendo has lost it. Well, they haven't lost it. I mean, they figured it
No, they lost the plot.
out better than anyone else. If there's any company that knows their fan base more than anyone else, it's Nintendo. They know exactly the nerd.
Well, that's true. They know their what their fan base loves. And they know that they can gouge those people. Like, if this was a few years ago, I probably would have gotten the Switch just for the Fire Emblem, though. That's how much I love Fire Emblem. But
that are gonna buy this. So
that's why I hate Fire Emblem Heroes so much. Because it's such a, like, it was the early sign that Nintendo was getting greedy as hell. Because they have pay-to-win skins in it. Which somehow are allowed.
you get to relive what was one of the greatest console failures of all time in 2025 all over again. But guess what? It gets better. See, if 100 is too rich for your blood, Nintendo has thought of people like you. There is a cardboard version.
They love the cardboard thing. I don't understand who thought of the... There used to be a kid thing. There was a cardboard, like, thing to make their games more fun or whatever. And that was kind of interesting. And I think it was only like $25 or something for all the, like, sets. This is $100 for one. Or, I don't know how much it is, but it's just one. So they're gonna overcharge.
They've got a cardboard version for people like you. Remember the Nintendo Labo? Remember how Nintendo couldn't afford to make real VR? So they sold you cardboard that you could fold into a VR headset? Yeah, they did that with the Virtual Boy. There's the poverty version, and there's the slightly above poverty version. And you get to own all of it, which we know all major Nintendo YouTubers are gonna do. All Nintendo YouTubers are going to buy every single thing we saw at this Nintendo Direct, because it's a great tax write-off. And they get to keep the toys at home. You know, that thing is for little Timmy. Oh, shut up. It's rated E for everyone. Soon to be rated D for diabetics. This company is out of their fucking minds. They are on crack. There's no other explanation. Nintendo is on crack. The funny part is, with today's technology, you know people are just gonna be able to 3D print these things. And yet, in spite of that, people still want to hand Nintendo $100 fucking. Never mind the cardboard version. I spent too much time ranting about this. Nintendo's greed is just insane. They are the Mr. Krabs of the sequel. It's a remake of a sequel. Okay, well, you know, it is a Nintendo Direct. If there were no remakes, we would have a total of like 5 games here. So if you're into horror games with terrible English dubbing, well, this is right up your alley. Then we get told the Switch 2 is getting Pirate Warriors 4.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing to say there. Okay, everybody has this game. Then comes an announcement for Overcooked 2 Switch 2 edition. Nothing to say about this one either. I feel like Nintendo's Virtual Boy greed just kind of zapped all of my ranting aura away.
What's funny is, even if Iwata spoke to them from the grave, they'd probably say, hey, can we record you to sell you? Guys, I kind of agree with the statement someone told me a while back of Nintendo is the Disney of the video game world.
Hey, and then a Stardew
That
Valley
ain't a good thing.
Switch 2 edition. I'm actually quite surprised that this doesn't just have a Switch 2 version by default. Then we get shown Human Fall Flat, Switch 2 version, Power Wash Simulator 2, Switch 2 version, Suka, Game Planet, Switch 1 and 2. Then we get told that finally, after like 2 months of being out, Donkey Kong Bonanza mysteriously has DLC out of nowhere. I'm kidding. Obviously, it's...
I already knew this, because I'd heard some people think that it kind of felt like certain areas feel less detailed.
not out of nowhere. This is cut content
It's
that they
cut content.
repackage and resold back to you because it's fucking Nintendo. And it was available just yesterday, immediately upon its announcement, which I have been told has been a very disappointing piece of DLC. That is not worth its price. It comes as a shock to Nintendo fans that Nintendo repackaged cut content to them, but to me, it's not surprising at all. Then came my favorite part of the night. Hypocrisy from Pokemon Company yet again. In spite of the various lawsuits, in spite of their attempt to patent every gameplay mechanic under the sun so that they can sue Pal World for daring to be just as popular and beloved as them, they go ahead and they basically copy Dragon Quest Builders, but Pokemon version. That's right. See, it's okay for Nintendo to copy everyone else. It's okay for Nintendo to be uncreative. It's perfectly fine for Pokemon to mimic what others do and use the exact same gameplay format that they never invented. It's a goddamn miracle Mojang never patented this gameplay formula, because if they did, then maybe Nintendo would be on the receiving end of what they do to everybody on a daily basis. But instead, I guess Nintendo, knowing that they're untouchable and they can be hypocrites, is releasing this piece of shit. The shamelessness of it, though, that's what really irks me. Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, aren't you in the middle of a lawsuit because another company made a game with gameplay mechanics you think you created and owned? And now you're using other creators' gameplay mechanics that you didn't make so shamelessly? Fuck you. You could take this cheap ass knockoff and shove it up Typhlosion's ass. And then Nintendo does the predictable. They show you Pokemon Legends ZA again. Like, we haven't seen enough of this, and believe me, I don't want to see more of it, because the more I see it, the more shit it gets.
Give you an idea, even people that support Nintendo aren't very excited for ZA. Like, they've looked at it, they're like, it kind of feels kind of lazy.
This game looks like complete
And
ass.
boring.
The fact that it's all locked to one city, there's no wild areas, open world, planes to explore.
Which, like, Pokemon is the only game where I would be like, nah, you can't just go to one city. There needs to be something more. I bet you so much money that it isn't actually just one city. There's DLC where you'll be able to go outside the city. They want to see how much of a game they can paywall.
It's just such a boneheaded decision that is against
I would
the Pokemon
100% guarantee it.
formula, and I don't understand it. But here's the
Clip it and ship it. Put it as a clip. I am willing to stand on it.
real twist. You see, they gave Raichu a really gay-looking Mega Evolution.
Oh, God. Slime doesn't like this Mega, by the way.
I know
They
that
think
might
it's
excite
so
some
dumb.
of you know, they're Raichu fans, surprisingly, out there. Well, what was once considered post-game content is now called DLC. That's right. This Mega Evolution Raichu, this is paid DLC. Pokemon and Nintendo are advertising to you paid DLC.
And it's paid DLC before the game's even out. Meaning, this is quite literally cut content.
Before the game launches. That is just diabolical. I swear to God, some former Ubisoft or EA.
And it's, look how lazy it is. Oh, the Y one gets thunder ears, and the X one gets a thunder tail to make an X. That's what you do for Raichu? You don't make him look like the evolution he was supposed to have. You just, what?
EO got hired by Nintendo because, oh my God, the levels of greed
And you
here
can pre-order it, by the way.
are insane. You are actively promoting and telling people, yeah, this could have been in the base game that we're already overcharging you for, but fork over the extra cash. Oh, wait, but that's not all. The greed with Pokemon gets even worse. You see, because Mega Stones in the game are locked behind ranked season matches online. Okay, for it. So
I'm sorry, what?
So what does that mean? What that means is basically you can't get them unless you pay for Switch Online. They are monetizing the shit out of you with Pokemon. And then they
are monetizing items in the game. If this game does good, I'm quite literally done.
Playing victim in court, trying to take down their competitor Pal World, who is continuously adding content to their game at no extra fee, whilst Nintendo is actively removing content from their games, dangling it above you, asking for more money. This is insane. Nintendo's greed is an all-time high. These guys don't give a single shit. They know you too well. You'll buy all of this. And then when the next Pokemon game releases with even less content, and basic things like Pokeballs are locked behind a paywall, guess who's to blame? Your ass! In a way
it's Borderlands 4. It's Borderlands 4, but more evolved,
Pokemon
more monetized.
Sort of pay to win. Before I even...
It's more monetized. Like, what? Like, I'm trying to think. Like, how much more monetized you can get. I feel like they're trying to see how much more monetization can we do before we start losing more people. You found it. You found it.
Get into a bigger rant about all of this. I think I should just save that for a video. So you'll have to...
Oh no, it's already you can't capture them all. Review. You can't get the other megas unless you buy the DLC that we've cut from the game.
Me just teasing you with...
Oh, and by the way, you can't catch them all because you can't get the Mega Stones. You know, the part of the game, this entire reason people are, want this game, the Megas, unless you pay for online and win and ranked. You gotta get number 1 to get Mewtwo a night. Gotta buy them all. Gotta buy them all.
Tip. Anyways, the rest of the direct was ass. All right, we saw Danganronpa, Dynasty Warriors Origins, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Resident Evil, and then that was it. What a horrendous event. What a waste of time. Had there not been as many remakes and remasters and re-releases here, this at most would have been a 10-minute long event, which honestly, I don't think would have been bad. Hell, it would have been better if they just released it as a video. No need for a live audience reaction because everybody was roasting Nintendo in the chat. Makes sense why they always disable it until the last minute. Nothing shown here today gives me incentive or reason to buy a Switch 2. As a matter of fact, makes me hate the device even more. When I built my gaming PC, that's all I ever had to do. I didn't have to continuously keep handing any company money to keep it relevant or justify its existence. People have to slide their credit cards more on the Nintendo Switch 2 than they have to scroll across their screen for games. It is a money-making machine. The people who buy into it are heavily invested, and it explains why they soy out like RGT85 did. But it really does feel like we're two completely different people. Like, I watched something completely different from him. I'm not the type of guy whose eyes light up when I see something to buy. He is. He likes adding to his collection like a lot of other Nintendo guys. But I'm not here for novelty items to put on my shelf. I'm here for games. And I was not impressed in the slightest. There's no way in hell I would drop the money.
It's so very sad.
For this device to play that. Total fucking waste of my time. I give it a 4 out of 10. And Fire Emblem... 4
out of 10? I sure hope 3 of those points are from just Fire Emblem.
Wasn't there to be a 2 out of 10. Like, comment, share.
No. It should be 4 of those points should be for the Fire Emblem alone.
Subscribe if you so choose to. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one.
But yeah, that's really good. Like I said, Fritada gets a little... blah, but he's alright. But he's right. Right. It's... bleh.